So you've got, for oral answer, 11 of the 31 questions you've tabled this month. We'll have a look at some of the issues you're covering. We'll start with the food bank. What are your concerns there? Because you were the children's champion, you resigned fairly recently from that role. Is this something that has come up during your time in that role?
Indeed it has. In fact, many of the questions I have down for next week are matters that are themes that have emerged during my time as Children's Champion amongst the many issues that people contacted me about. The food bank one particularly is following last summer. I was disturbed by the number of contacts I was having about people suffering real hardship over holiday hunger issues. So children who may be entitled to free school meals during term time, who then have no access during the summer, compounded by the issue of parents having to perhaps afford new school uniform, PE kit, trainers, etc. So this one is really a follow-up to hopefully give the Chief Minister the opportunity to say what work is being done across the government to mitigate the issues over holiday hunger and support parents who may be in need. Because my main issue with it, I think, is that I know a number of families, perhaps single parent working, may be claiming the employed person allowance, the EPA, may only get a couple of pounds a week, but that then entitles you to the free school meals, the free school travel and other benefits. But that all stops in the summer, and on top of which, if you are working even part-time, you've got childcare issues, managing to support childcare and food on top and everything. And for people on low incomes, there's a real squeeze. And the food bank reported last August that yes, there was a definite spike in August for families contacting them for support. And I'm aware that they've moved to bigger premises because they needed to have that expansion. And this is, very much a case of saying, well, before we hear in the summer that there's an issue and an appeal for contributions to the food bank, I'm very supportive of the work that they're doing, but I would like to hear from the Chief Minister that this issue is one that has concerned the government and that there are specific policies looking to support families who may need it during the summer.
And are there any other issues that are linked in with the school term that you can see as being a problem during the summer months?
Well, there are a few. And there's also school leavers, for instance, when a school young person leaves full-time education, the parents cease having the family allowance, for instance. That young person then may no longer be welcome in the family home. I noticed Tim Baker has a question down about homelessness, so there are connections. But from I have another question down, particularly looking at, in the case of a young person who has mental health issues, for instance, what level of support kicks in when that person leaves school, is post-16, the family don't any longer have any eligibility for the child support benefits, family allowance. And what benefits or support is there for a child or young person who is unable to be a job seeker and i.e. eligible for job seekers allowance? So that is really an open question. Say there are families I know who have perhaps young people with physical and mental health issues. Where's the support of this caring society for people who are struggling?
And you have another question on mental health issues, and that's about the CAMHS service.
Yeah, that's one that's a very big part of my mailbag during the time as Children's Champion. Seriously, moving stories of families in crisis. Now, this is one of the issues I had with the new terms of reference for the Children's Champion being for looked after children and vulnerable children, whereas many of the issues that were coming to me were families in crisis because they wait many months for an appointment to see the CAMHS team. Perhaps when they get there, they're told they don't meet the threshold. There's some rumour that maybe the threshold has changed or maybe increased. But then there's no support for them at, I think they call it a tier 2, but a lower level. What support and strategies and therapies can be accessed by this group of people? And we're talking young people who, for whatever reason, maybe then out of mainstream education. What support? Primarily the mental health support and therapies can those parents access for their young people, but the wider issue is the long-term education and ongoing support for young people in crisis.